this mission of Biafra. It is indeed striking, if not extraordinary, that quite a few don't seem to recognize the underlying features that link the almost routinized murder perpetrated by the police, other agents of the state in Africa, on an African people in the streets of Onitsha, Iguacha, Aba, Nairobi, Oka, Uzowani, Bujumbura, Owerri, Enugu, and Asaba. For instance, with the stretch of murders of African descent people in the United States carried out by police in innumerable cities, including especially New York, Orlando, Washington, D.C., Baton Rouge, Jacksonville, Dallas, Minnesota, San Francisco, Columbus, Oklahoma City, Las Vegas, Baltimore, Chicago, and Los Angeles. These murders, east or west of the Atlantic, are configured and executed under the same overarching ideological rubric of the expressed diminution of African life that constitutes the engaging, subjugating template of 400 years of pan-European enslavement of the African humanity in the Americas and elsewhere, beginning in the 15th century, and Europe's consequent occupation of the African homeland itself. Europe's Berlin State aftermath of this scourge of history in contemporary Africa duly operationalizes the age-long legacy. Thus, the significance of the late 1960s British Prime Minister Harold Wilson's notorious declaration that he, Harold Wilson, quote, would accept the death of 500,000 Biafrans if that was what it took, unquote, Britain's client and co-genocidist Nigeria to destroy the Igbo resistance to the ongoing Igbo genocide, is a reminder to anyone who would wish to think otherwise in the globe's post-World War II era that the basis of the state that would oversee the lives of African peoples forthwith wouldn't differ significantly from what Britain and the rest of Europe had constructed in variegated forms since the 1490s. The Nigerian executioners on the ground end up murdering 3.1 million Biafrans, or 25% of the Igbo population during 44 gruesome months, 29 May 1966 to 12 January 1970. Far in excess of Massa Harold Wilson's 500,000 Biafrans death wish, representing 4.2% of the Igbo population. Just as the murderous gangs of camp overseers in the African enslaved estates in the Americas of earlier epochs, the overseers imprisoned their Africa matrix estate formations, often drawn from constituent African nations opposed to the restoration of African freedom from the pan-European conquest and subjugation, for instance, Hausa Fulani in a British Nigeria, are primed by the estate to murder conscientiously liberatory and transformative Africans as instantly, overwhelmingly, and savagely as they deem fit. It is precisely as a result of this devastating track of antecedent that is soon to be freed Igbo people from genocidist Nigeria occupation have an opportunity to begin to build a new civilization in Biafra where African life, human life, fundamentally is sacrosanct. This is the immediate prize of the restoration of African freedom, and Biafrans share this prize with the rest of African humanity, wherever they are placed across the world. Surely, for African peoples, 500 years later, this salient goal of Biafra cannot be overstressed. Never again does anyone anywhere on earth devalue African life as a ritualized instrument of state power. Biafra is an inclusive state where women and men live as co-operators and co-creators in fundamentally transforming the society. This is a state that accepts and accords full rights to all its people. This is a state where people enjoy the rights to differ and to dream dreams and dream different sets of dreams as they choose. Biafra is a state dedicated to furthering and nurturing the resilience of its people and to enable them advance their highest creative endeavors. This state continuously strives to remove all limitations in the paths of its people and committed to making life better and better and better. This is a state that tasks its people to flourish. Already 50 years since the first dreadful murders of the genocide were committed in North Nigeria on Sunday, 29 May 1966, Biafrans have written an extraordinary essay on human survival and fortitude, a beacon of the tenacity of the spirit of human overcoming of the most desperate, unimaginable brutish forces. Alas, this chokingly long drawn-out catastrophe that is at once Britain's Nigeria hodgepodge and expanded time frame of Europe's totalizing hegemony in Africa is over, and truly African peoples do stand poised on the eve of a new beginning. Biafra.